how's it going? Okay, so the next one is going to be global filtering, right? So we are doing global filtering next. So probably need to create a new file. Call it global filtering JS. Copy and paste this code into it. We'll probably want to remove this stuff to avoid confusion. Remove. So, whoops. Yeah, okay. So now we need to go into app and add global filtering. So import global filtering from global filtering. There you go. We want to okay, so now we'll probably have a brand new table, right? A brand new table, yeah. So we should not have any sorting. Okay, cool. Okay, so global filtering. How do we do global filtering? So we need to import a hook. I think it's actually quite easy to do. So get filtered role model. Model, right? We want to create a local state as well. So filtering, set filtering, and set it to a string. Then we want to bind, well, to add this hook into our table, right? Then we want to bind the local state to, well, table state to local state, right? So we want to bind state global filter to filtering like this, and then we want to bind the change function as well. So on global filter changed, so it's plural, changed, we want to bind it to local state change function like this. Yeah, and honestly, that's it. Like that's pretty much done. So all you do at this stage is just add an input, some kind of an input field type. Let's do text value. I think it's going to be, so now because the table is bind to the local state, value is going to be filtering. And then on change is going to be E set filtering, because remember this table state is now binded to your local state, right? So E target value like this, and then we want to close the input field, right? Like so. And this, honestly, this should actually do it pretty much. I think that should do it. So let's find Tommy. There's Tommy, right? Let's find Griffey. Okay. Okay. So that's global filter done. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a global filter. Now let's do column filter. Now before we do column filter, we have to do Debounce function. because without the bounce function, column filter is very hard. Like it's not straightforward. Okay, so the first thing we want to do, we want to create a debounce function here. So debounce function JS. Now it's gonna be in the repo, so you can copy and paste it. It's very confusing. It's like giga confusing. So like so. You can just copy and paste it and just use it, right? So that's our debounce function, and we want to create a new file, which is gonna be column filtering. We can close this, copy and paste the basic table. Okay, so this is a debounce function, right? So it's gonna be in here, and next we need to do column filters, right? So column filters are a little bit tricky. 1 second. Okay, so it's very similar to the global filter. So you put get filter row model, then we want to create a state, local state. So it's going to be const yes, my autocomplete's messed up a little bit. Okay, so now we need to put the hook inside the use table thing, like this. Now we need to bind the state to, so table state to the column filters. So this is table state to local state. And then we need to on column filters change, bind it to local state as well, like this. Okay, so the bounce function we already created. The next thing we need to do is we need to create a filter function. So new file, filter function JS. Again, it's very heavy code, so I'm just gonna copy and paste it, and we actually need to import our debounce function into it, right? Debounce input from there you go. Okay, and now I'm gonna copy and paste the gigantic code because it's absolutely massive and it's very confusing. But to be honest with you, you don't really need to know exactly what it does, because you just need to know what type of properties to pass into it. Oh my god, it's so big. No! Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to do it from here. So, like this. We probably need React in here. Remove this. Okay, so this is filter function. So the next step would be to put column filter. So next we need to put the bounce filter function is created. So now we need to put it under the flex render, right? Yeah. So we need to put it under flex render. So where's our flex render? Yeah. So we need to basically create a div in here. Like this. And then we can put flex. So we need to put like this. Flex render into it. And now we need to create a div. Like this. Oh, wait. We need to first get... Actually, I don't think we need... No, we don't need it right now. So now we need to import our filter function. In here, I'm going to import filter function from filter function. There you go. Again, like I think in the docs they call it something different, but I'm just gonna stick to this stuff. And it's in headers. We're doing it in headers, right? So now we do filter function, and we need to pass two properties into it. One is called column, which is going to equal to column element dot column, and second is gonna be table, which equals to our table instance. Table instance. So table instance is this thing here. You see? We're passing basically the whole table into it. And I think that's about it. And now we need to add this thing here. So we need to add column filtering. And then import from components. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so it's complaining that there is some kind of error. Oh yeah, so we need to change this to from Debounce function like this, and then it should work. So now it's complaining that column filtering is not defined. No, column filtering should be here. Everything is fine. Yeah. Oh, it's just bugging a little bit. Yeah. So there you go. Now you have the filtering. So we can say Tommy. No. Okay. I made a mistake somewhere. 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, where did I make a mistake? Let me just have a look. 1 sec. Okay, so I found the issue. On column filter change, it should not be D, it should be just change. Right? So I don't know, sometimes this thing recommends incorrect keys, right? So this should not have D in it, should be changed. And I also changed the debounce input, but we can call it debounce function again. Oh, let's call it input, honestly, it's better. And now it's working basically. That's what we have now. So let's say we want find this guy here. Let's do So let's find rip. Whoops, rip. Now remember, when you're typing, there is a bit of a delay because it's a debounce function, right? So okay, so this is done, right? Column filtering done. So removing a filter is next. Okay, so before we start doing removing filter, we need to add something into column filtering. So where you see this filter function, right, we want to add a code which looks something like this. So we remove this and we want to add like this column element, which is this thing here, dot column dot get can filter, like this. So when we're going to be adding the property whether something can or cannot filter, this will scan for it, and if it can filter, it will apply the filter to it. If not, then it will not, right? So if it can filter, we want to return like the standard div, right? And if it cannot filter, we want to return null. Yeah, so this thing is gonna get a bit messy. So div should have like this, I think it should be. Yeah. So if it can filter, we want to return the div. If it cannot, we want to return null. So that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do, so I need to go into column definitions, and let's create a new one. 1 second. Okay, so we are. Oh, yeah, so we are. What are we doing next? Yeah, so we need to go into columns, column definitions now, and let's just put this here. Column definition with filters, like this, with filter. And what we do is we basically put enable column filter, and we put it to false. So the ones you want to be not have the filter, just put false, and then that's it. This should do it. Okay, so naturally we need to import this into here. Where is the, yeah, and then we want to use it in here because we're changing column definitions, right? So now you can see that ID has no filter. So let's remove email filter as well, so you can see. We want to go to column definitions, and let's email enable filter false. So as soon as we save, the filter should disappear. Yeah, you see now email does not have the filter. Now you can also remove a column from having ability to be globally filtered, right? And the way to do that would be to you basically want to put this into it. Enable global filter false, and what that does is every time somebody filters, global filter will not apply to this column. Now you can find this info in here. Basically, I'll show you. Just go to TanStack right here and type filters, like this, filters. And you will get to here. So you need to get to filters. Oops. Oh, API filters. Okay, so we need to go to filters API. There you go. And you see in here they will tell you so this is column filters and this is global filters. So there's a bit of description in here. Alright, so this is done. So this is removing filters, right? So finally is adding default property. Okay, so adding default property is actually very straightforward to do. Okay, so if we want to add a property, let's go into column filters and let's say, one sec, let me just have a look. Yeah, so the first thing you want to do, you want to put it into use memo, otherwise every time it changes, you know, you have to re-render it again. And it's called default column is equal to react use memo, and then we want to return no dependency, and we want to return basically a object. Now the reason why we put these things is because it's an object, right? Otherwise it will think it's a function, right? So anyway, I'll do it a little bit a little bit kind of beginners friendly. So normally you do it this way. So now it's a function and we want to return an object. So object will have any property that you want in it. So let's say YouTube prop hello world. So we want to apply this to every single column, right? So now what we do is we go to here, and the property name is actually default column. So default column inside the table is equal to this thing here, right? Okay, and this property is going to exist in here, inside the column element, right? So let's say we want to find it. So we want to console log. It's going to be our property column element dot column. So I'll show you where it exists, so you'll be able to see it, right? So like so. Okay, so if we look inside the object, right, it's going to be inside column. And where is it? It should be column and then column definition. So there it is. It should be here. Now there should be a property called YouTube. Hold on a sec. Am I looking at the right thing? Oh, I trolled a bit. Yeah, so it should be here, and then column definition. Yeah, so there it is. You see, YouTube prop hello world. There it is. So you see, now it exists in every single one of them. So let's go into email. You'll be able to see that it's in here as well. So it's column definition, and there it is. Now, so I'm just saying that you can console log it if you want, you know. So it's in column, and then column definition, like this. So now we should be able to just console log it. It's gonna be like 8 times the same thing, I think, right? Or did I forget to save? I think I forgot to save. And I need to make sure I'm not console logging the same thing. Oh my god, it's frozen. Okay. Yeah, so it's here. So let's just console log it basically. So column definition, where is it? Column definition dot this thing, and then we should have it here now. Yeah, your property hello world, you see? So now we have it. Now you see why it's important to have use state, use memo, otherwise you see you get a lot of re-renders, and that's a lot of memory consumed. Okay, so this is this done, I think, right? Yeah. Okay, so next one is gonna be pagination, I think it's called. Yeah, so next one's pagination. Take care, bye bye.